Makachoy. Zaha! Oh, yes! Wilfried Zaha, single-handedly, firing Palace to Wembley.
It's Mile Jedinak to strike it! What a fabulous free kick! Murray, chance here, Gale, 3-3! And Dwight Gale, they just have blown Liverpool right out of the title picture. Will take the penalty and scores! Crystal Palace 1, Watford 0.
And with Benteke in there, you never know. Oh, goodness me! Oh, goodness me! What a steal, but what a goal!
They still got it. And still, are you? Oh, what a goal for Crystal Palace!
Good evening. Yes, it is time for the Brighton preview. Tomorrow is a massive game, which is only going to go away. We're going to beat those seagulls, or the seaweeds, I should say. Absolutely pumped for it. I'm going to be there at the game as well. Potentially, I'll be doing some fan cams after the game. So if you want to find me, follow my Twitter. But yeah, I'm mad excited. I've got to try and contain myself. I've got 3 excellent guests tonight. Let's start with the top right. Nath, how are you doing, mate?
Boy, the excitement is off the chain. I can't wait for tomorrow night.
Absolutely, it's going to be a great one. Bottom left, if you can see down, we've got Mr. Steve himself. If you follow him on Twitter, you've got bags of laughs. I tell you that for free. How you doing, Steve?
Legend, Rich. Appreciate that, mate. Yeah, that's what we're here for. Laughs, even at my expense. But they're not that often. Mostly it's other people's expense. But yeah, I'm buzzing for tomorrow night. Absolutely buzzing. I'm even more buzzing to potentially be meeting you.
Wicked. Yeah, absolutely. Got to find a way to do that. And lastly, not only is Steve making his debut on the show, we've also got a young man that way. James, who I did a Liverpool stream with the other day. Funny kid, funny young man. And he's got aspirations to become a sports journalist from what I've heard. So guys, if you know anyone out there that can point him in the right direction, James, this is for you. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing well, yeah.
So humble. All right.
You're doing a lot better than most other people. You managed to get the 3rd kit, and that wasn't an easy task.
I didn't get it online. I went to the store.
Yeah, so did I.
I that was my first instinct of this kit is beautiful. It's going to sell out immediately. Get it in the store immediately.
Can't blame you at all. But we're going to go right into it. Now, Nate, I'm going to come to you last because I know your views on this already. We've spoken many a time. But Steve, thoughts on the season so far?
I think the first game was a baptism of fire, and it always was going to be, because I think everyone was quite excited, new beginnings, and they just wanted something to happen and a sign of that. But unfortunately, it wasn't the case. I think we suddenly learnt, and it kicked in from the 70th minute. And I know we had a chat the other night, a week back on that Liverpool pod. I think the 70th minute was the beginning, and all of a sudden we kind of started linking up. We started causing some problems. Yeah, we didn't have anything on the end of it, but it was refreshing to see. And Brentford is looking like a really good result. You look at how Trent played against Brentford. He was found out yet again because the man's a fraud and he can't defend. He needs to be in the midfield. So I said this all along. We know this. Trent Alexander is a defensive fraud. End of. And that's the reason why he's not in the England squad.
On that point, I think that's probably the reason they didn't play him against Zaha.
100%.
You know, so
100%.
you could call Klopp a tactical genius.
They gave the referee a brown paper bag and just said Milner's going to batter Zaha whenever he can, but just let it go.
This is it. Big up to everyone in the comments. This is actually a United fan. Palace to save United from dropping out of the top 4. He'd love to see it. Big up J718. You agree Edward has to start and maybe Elise? I hope Elise starts. James, you know who this person is.
I do indeed.
James' mother is a Liverpool fan. Yeah.
Is that your mum?
Could be. Could not be. You never know. Enigmas and that.
I'd block her, James, if I were you.
This is it. I'm going to come back to the comments in a minute. James, your thoughts on the season so far?
Apart from the pre-season friendly against Chelsea on the first match week, coincidentally, I think it's been really good. Like, the Brentford result, it was what it was. But then Tottenham, I know everyone beats them 3-0 nowadays, whatever, but, you know, we did it to them first. We're clearly the reason they're struggling.
James is in the mud now. You ain't getting too many games, mate.
I'm just, like, all I'm thinking is that doesn't matter. Yeah, I could go anyway. But it's, like, I remember when we were in for Nuno, I'm so happy we didn't get him. Oh, that's my thoughts so far of the season. Happy we got Vieira and not Nuno.
I think Nuno's a weird one because it's deceptively on the face of things, he looks good. But then when you play the Portuguese national side and you've got Ronaldo's agent in your back pocket, it's quite easy to recruit people, especially Portuguese. But yeah, it seems on the face of things that we've got a very lucky escape. And rather than sacking him, we don't have to sack him and all of the backroom staff he wanted replacing.
And Adama Traore.
Oh, my days.
Like, part of me still thinks that would have been cool, but then the other part of me has a brain and goes, he still hasn't scored or assisted this season, so, you know.
Yeah, let's not get into Adama Traore.
But
he's horrible.
you can't disrespect a man who's got a sponsorship and endorsement deal with lubrication firms.
Baby oil company alive. Baby oil company survived through lockdown because Adama Traore was there, and I'm not having it.
Mate, there's some serious money involved. I mean, to be fair to Traore, he's a very, very astute and clever man. And let's just put it this way: he didn't let anything slip out of his fingers.
I mean, he's probably also increased the amount of sheds that have been built across the nation, especially in Wolverhampton. Like, people want an Adama Traore in their back garden, they build a shed. But a shed covered in oil.
Oh my lord.
Nath, I should have given you a disclaimer from the start. These two are funny.
Don't worry about it. The more the merrier.
Oh, man. Nath, what's your thoughts on the season so far? Steve, James, don't kill me tonight, please.
No. Listen. If you want to be honest, look, the Chelsea game, it was what it was. Champions of Europe, they pretty much controlled the whole game. You can't really hate on that too much. The other games since, there's been progress. It's been slow, but we've seen progress. Brentford, before a ball had been kicked, we all had that down as we should be winning that at home. Brentford at Selhurst Park, we should be winning that. But when they beat Arsenal, as I've said a number of times now, I thought, they've just beaten Arsenal. So don't jump ahead, because we all thought when Huddersfield came up in their first Premier League season, who did they beat on the first day? Us. So I thought, let's not go down another Huddersfield road, because we know how that ends. West Ham away, I hate West Ham away. Doesn't matter how good they are, how crap they are, how good we are, how crap we are. I can't stand West Ham away, purely because you need binoculars just to see the pitch. So
I can't stand West Ham, let alone West Ham away.
Yeah, no, I understand you, Steve. You know, but that's what I'm trying to say. So I thought, okay, West Ham result 2-2 on the face of it, decent point. The Tottenham game, as I said when we did the Tottenham result, were we playing Tooting and Mitcham? Because I think they would have given us a better game than Tottenham, as we saw today. Because it's like, wow, they're really in problems. Really in problems. And then obviously last weekend, it could have been a different game if we took those first two early chances. It weren't to be, and Liverpool just took advantage of some poor defending on corners, which, to be fair, Liverpool didn't score from open play if you really want to look at it. But see, so far, you can't really hate on it too much because our signings have bedded in relatively quickly. Not fully quickly, because we've still got Elise and Edouard to fully mesh in. But compared to how we started most seasons, it's not been too terrible. Bear in mind, our first 6-7 fixtures were just a nightmare to look at, like Liverpool, Chelsea, West Ham, Tottenham, Leicester, Brighton. You're like, where's the real fixture list? Like, where's the balance in this fixture list? Because all I'm seeing right now is just giving us the worst possible run-in, but it's been all right so far. And the football's been much better to watch than the dinosaur from last season. Because trust me, don't ever let me go back to that again, because that was painful. That was bleach football.
Hodgson. That's what I call him. Absolutely.
Hodgson watching the Liverpool game last
Cabbage
week must
football.
have been rolling in his
He just needs
managerial
to
grave.
be
seeing
retired
set
before we
piece
even
corners.
employed him. We should have taken him on at best as a consultant. That's about as good as it gets.
Cabbage football, no.
Or someone that could like build up relationships with the Chelsea pensioners, something like that.
Jesus, steady on there.
He's pretty much one, isn't he?
Well, yeah, you're not far wrong there, Steve.
Crazy. Yeah, but in all honesty, it's been a very good start considering the fixture list. Yeah, we could have maybe got a bit more out of the Brighton game, but when you look at the rest of the fixtures, we've played very, very well in those fixtures, particularly last weekend. If minus obviously the set pieces, we absolutely gave Liverpool a game, you know, and
we flat the scoreline flattered them, hands down.
massively.
Big time.
But unfortunately, when you come up against top 6, you're always going to come up against one thing that we've been missing. But hopefully,
A referee
will click. No, well, referees are referees at the end of the day. There's nothing you can do about them. They're always corrupt as hell, and they all don't know their arse from their elbow.
We should have learnt this after the cup final. Mark Clattenburg, need I say more?
Absolutely. Go on, Steve. Say what you need to say.
I don't even know what I was saying. I've forgotten. What was I saying?
I think it was about Trent Alexander.
Corrupt referees and Trent being fraud.
I mean, the hands down. They know, but you know that if Benteke, when he got taken out by Simikos, happened in the opposing area and it was a Palace player didn't, you know, hands down, unquestionably, it's going to be a penalty to Liverpool. But it isn't going to be a penalty to Crystal Palace because the big team bias has manifested itself to the point it's out of control now. And I don't care what anyone says. You see it all the time. Even like 50-50, even like not even 50-50s are given. United's penalty was not a penalty, in my opinion. Very soft. But it got given because it's United. But if it happened to us, we would never get that. The Burnleys, the Newcastles, those sort of team would never get that. But if it's any of those top 6, all day long, straight away the VAR guy will go, right, you need to go look at the screen, go to the screen, bang, it'll get given. And that's the reality of it. And it's never going to change.
It never will. It never will. Let me just address a few more of the comments. Right, so I've got Edouard, Gallagher, and Sarr in my fantasy team, and only for one reason: Brighton. Great decision, mate. I think we're gonna do him.
Smart guy, that guy.
Very, very smart.
Captain Zaha and Edouard. Put him in for the Tottenham game. Best decision of my life.
If there's ever a game you want Zaha playing, it's this one.
I think it's every game.
Absolutely. He's
but
no,
against Brighton.
No, but James, you know as well as I do. Brighton, anytime we play them lot, he's the guy you want on the pitch. Never mind anybody else, because Wilf knows what this game means to us because he's played in the biggest game between us in donkey's years, the playoff semi-final. I'm not including these Premier League games because let's be fair, like when they did the double over us in 18-19, they still needed us to beat Cardiff to stay up.
It's funny,
that's how peak it is for this lot. We had to beat Cardiff to keep them in the league. So all of this guff of, we took 6 points off you. That's great. But who did you need to come save your ass? Us. And even then I was thinking, I don't mind losing if they get relegated. But at the same time, I don't want to live with the idea that they've taken 6 points off us. That would just kill me.
Yeah.
And since then, we've faced them twice at their place and beat them. And last season, we didn't deserve to beat them. I'm not even going to try and pretend otherwise. But the one thing that hurts me about that win last season is there was no fans in the away end where that winning goal was scored. Because trust me, any female Palace fans in attendance would have been impregnated on the spot. It was wicked. Because everyone just lost their shit. Come on, nobody can sit here and say, "Oh, what a wonderful goal!" Yes, no, I lost my nut. Because I just was like,
I was still getting over the Mateta back heel. That's still one of my favourite goals I've ever got to witness.
do you know what I'm saying?
It was a great finish.
That's the one reason I still trust him.
What a frightening statistic that will go down as the one and only main contribution from the guy. But hey, we'll rejoice with that.
Oh, I part of me still wants Mateta to do well because just one back heel against Brighton is enough for me to immediately call him someone I want to at least see on the bench. I don't want to call him starting player. That's rubbish. But like, I want to see him at least given another chance because I don't know why. That one back heel sold it for me. That's all I can say. Yeah, I just bring him on 80th minute, another back heel, and then he can go back to mines.
You know what it is? I think it's number one. It was against Brighton, and But on the flip side, I think the club have in mind that if he plays, is it 15 games?
15, he goes permanently.
Yeah, and I don't think they want to reach that 15 target. So
I know from playing Football Manager, he's got that, and for some reason he turned into a goal beast in that game. But
not when you've paid £3 million loan fee and you've got another £14 million to pay to secure the signing. No thanks, mate.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just play him 14 times just because it'll be funny. Just so they have to sit there and realise that we're not going to get him, even though we've made the maximum use we could have. Just be funny.
That's it. We got a comment from a United fan here, and to be fair, like I got a love for this guy. He helped me set up my channel, and congratulations as well for the birth of his latest daughter. Can't wait for the fakest derby of all time. Brad, don't be salty. I know you're quite upset about the Villa result, but
listen, Grads, mate. No, I appreciate your comment, mate, but it was a thriller from Villa.
This is it.
The Ronaldo effect in full force.
It's probably the only comment I'm going to agree with from a Liverpool fan. Vieira is the one.
No, Mancunian is watching the Manchester Derby season in season.
Wholeheartedly agree. Vieira is the one, but Trent definitely isn't.
Also says need Palace to win to keep Liverpool up. Everyone's hope rests on us. All the time.
We are actually the biggest team in the league if you think about it. Everyone wants us to do it for them. Do it yourself.
We're massive.
Exactly.
We've been massive for a long time.
We are the biggest club within the south of the River Thames, and no one can disprove that. And north of it as well, but just that's a different debate that I want to get into as well, but no need to.
Oh, Ollie Solskjaer, what a manager. I love him.
Give him a 50-year contract.
In it, 50-year contract.
This is it. Right. You know what? This is a perfect comment to go into the next segment. Vieira knows what this derby means to us. His press conference, he spoke well. Spoke like he'd been well versed in this rivalry. And he also mentioned like Jeffrey Schlupp could be actually in the squad for this game. Is there anything from his press conference that struck you? Anyone could go.
Aside of the press conference, have you guys seen the Soccer AM interview?
I tried to find it, but I couldn't. I looked for it, but I couldn't find it anywhere. I only saw him like one clip, which was quite a good clip to be fair, but didn't see much of it.
He was talking about one key factor, which is the sole factor that I'm really, really buying into this guy. He talked about the fans. He's recognised how important the fans are and what it means to Crystal Palace Football Club. And the atmosphere, the vibe, the way they really encourage the team and get them going. And the fact that COVID's now, Foxtrot Oscar off, is perfect for us in respect that the atmosphere that we generate is unrivaled. And I don't care what any other fan base says. Leeds bang on about how good their fans are. Liverpool bang on about their one song, which is a load of rubbish. I'm sorry, our atmosphere is unrivaled, and I will argue the toss until I'm black and blue in the face. And that's vital, and that's exactly what he honed in on. And there was one, if you can find it, guys, on this Soccer AM interview. It cuts into Gallagher walking along, and you see all the fans. Where else do you see all the fans at the end of a game all standing up and clapping? You don't see it at City because there's no fans to clap. You don't see it at Arsenal because they're sitting there eating prawn sandwiches. You don't see it at Chelsea because they're standing there slagging off people and being racist because that's what they are. You don't see it at United because they're moaning about Solskjaer being out. And Leicester sit there with clappers. Brighton sit there singing their one song, Albion. So, I'm sorry.
City can't because there's no one in the stadium.
And I agree with Vieira. He's honed in on that. I know exactly what it means to the fans, and I know exactly what this derby is about. And it doesn't matter what anyone says, we know what we need to do. Can't beat that.
Nate?
Yeah. And last season, you would have had Bodson standing there going, well, we need to defend and we need to make sure that we try and control the game. Oh, just fuck off, you old cunt. Sorry. Can't stand the guy. It's the worst managerial.
The first thing I always think of when I hear of Roy Hodgson is the time he thought Roberto Carlos wasn't a good footballer. That's all I can ever think about with him. But it's just like,
it's tragic.
My main memory of Hodgson in that 4-year tenure is the fact that he was kneeling down and he couldn't get back up. That's all I can think of.
Best memory is when he left.
Huge.
It's a shout.
Sorry, I apologise for my conduct and my French.
That's
Rich,
right.
you asked me a question?
Yeah, I was just going to say your thoughts on the Vieira press conference. And Steve, by the way, don't worry, I'm learning French in Duolingo, so.
Nice one, mate. I like to
boy.
I'll teach you some more tomorrow evening when we have a beer.
Wicked. Tell a lie. It's refreshing to hear Vieira talk about this game way more positive than Roy Hodgson, because as fans, we don't need motivation to get up for it. This is the one game a year we look for. Every season, when they're in the same league as us, it's when are we playing them? And bear in mind, we haven't played a South London derby in a league in just shy of 10 years now. So local derbies for us don't happen anymore. And the last time we did have one, we smacked them lot in SC7 4-1 in the League Cup. And boy, that was a hell of a night, I can't lie. But obviously, Sky love to promote this as the A23, M23 derby. Okay, first of all, shut up. Not a derby. Never has been, never will be. They're not from South London. We're not from Sussex. It's not a derby. It's a rivalry, right? But Vieira's comments and the way he's talking about coming into this game, he wants to win this, because if he wins his first game against Brighton at home, forget about it. Forget about it. Because all the frustration from losing to Chelsea and Liverpool, forgotten about. We don't care. We beat Brighton and stop them talking about, oh, we're in the Champions League. That's great in September. But come May, where are you lot going to be?
Probably
down there with us right now.
They always are.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
As I said before, the one season they did the double over us, they needed us to keep them in the league. And we were hearing all this talk about, oh, we're still a better football club than you. They were lucky to have the man who won them the game on the pitch, knockout, because he kicked Luca in the nuts. And I'm thinking, if that's not a red card, is this MMA? What's going on? So coming into this game to hear Vieira talk the way he's talking, I'm just thinking, you know what? This is what I like to hear. A manager that's understanding what this game means. Because Roy Hodgson, as Steve said, we may as well have just literally sat on the team bus, handed over the 3 points and not bothered showing up. Because that's how it made me feel in the 4 fixtures that we've had in the last 2 years. I know we beat them both times at the Amex, but don't get it twisted. I was incensed in the 1-1 draw at our place last season. That was on my birthday. It was like, are you trying to piss me off? I can understand if we're under the cosh and we're losing 1-0 and we snatch a 1-0. We was 1-0 up. I'm thinking, lads, bury it. Bury this game dead. And then Alexis McAllister, out of nowhere, just decides to slap one into the bottom corner. I'm thinking, it's not the expectation that kills me, it's the hope. Of course, I felt a little bit better come February, because they couldn't, could they? Benteke in the middle. Every time Bill Leslie commentates this game, Do you know what I mean? But every time Bill Leslie commentates a Palace Brighton game, he's got these iconic commentaries just ready to go. Zaha, oh yes. Benteke in the middle. And like as we were saying earlier, Mateta's back heel. Forget anything else. Mateta will always be remembered for that one goal because you know what you're thinking. If there's a way to score your first goal against Brighton, he nailed it.
Yeah, absolutely. James, your thoughts on Vieira's press conference?
I thought it was a solid press conference. He didn't say anything that made me go, "Why are you speaking still?" Like most other managerial press conferences you hear. I like his press conference in general.
Roy Hodgson.
Yeah. But I just really like the fact that he's taking the game seriously and not just saying, yeah, it's not an actual football match. It's a football match that isn't a football match. Like Hodgson would have somehow managed to get across and then play as well that it wasn't football. But
Hodgson was defensive in his press conferences. It was that bad.
Somehow managed to play 7 at the back.
Even more defensive. It was just horrific.
He should have worked for Durex. Trust me.
It's true.
Imagine if we didn't have Hodgson, we'd probably
we'd be happy, James.
We'd be happy. Yeah,
happy for 4 years. 4 years of our life, we would have been happy, mate. Instead, we were miserable as sin.
You know, I believe if we didn't have Hodgson, we would have had the new stadium expansion. We would have been in the Champions League for 3 seasons in a row.
Whoa!
But no, Hodgson ruined it.
There's 3 big highlights for me under Hodgson's reign, and that win against Brighton at the Amex was as up there as top. The second one was beating Leeds 4-1. And beating Man United away 3-1.
I love that game. Best game of the season last year.
That was super.
No, the first win at Old Trafford was the best. A last-minute winner. And of all people, it was the left-back that's better off being left-back in Holland. Patrick Van Aanholt. I said, he's born offside. And my man has just whipped it into the bottom corner. I thought, you know what? And bear in mind, Wan-Bissaka is on the deck looking a bit foolish. Like, Aaron, you shouldn't have left, mate. Look what's happened. Agent Wan-Bissaka. But look, I get the Hodgson towards the end. Everybody was sick of it. It wasn't difficult to be sick of the same negative, predictable, pedantic football. But
Nathan, I was sick of him after day 1, mate.
all right, but hold on. Because he came in after Frank de Boer, right? He was arguably the best option we had because de Boer was an absolute disaster class from start to finish. Hodgson must have been smoking Amsterdam's finest when he appointed Frank de Boer. That's just a stone cold fact. Shout out Stone Cold Steve Austin. So what I'm trying to say, though, is I get that people were sick of Roy Hodgson. Everybody was. I was. I'm not even going to remotely try and pretend that I wasn't dissatisfied with the lack of intent and attacking it. Because we have players like Schlupp, like Zaha, even Eze, that we know can punish people. But what were we doing? Sit back, keep it negative, keep it protective, and try and defend a 1-0 defeat. What?
The worst one for me, Nathan, was after the defeat against Wolves in the FA Cup. And he turned around and he said, the journalist who was interviewing said, "You didn't register 1 shot at all today." And he said, "Well, I was really pleased with the number of crosses that we put into the box." And the journalist said, "You put in 3 crosses." And that was it. I was just like, I'm done.
No, Steve.
You were happy over 3 crosses, mate.
Steve, I get that. But the only thing that I take from Hodgson's reign is a couple of very big wins where we beat Leicester 5-0, which was a massive win. Because granted, it was 10 men. But listen, we smacked them up 5-0. Very rarely do we see anybody get smacked 5-0 by us. The last time I think was when we beat this lot 5-0 in 2002. And I still remember that game very vividly. When was it? It was Stoke away where we sent them down to the Championship because it was just like, beautiful. We've got rid of the Middle-earth Lord of the Rings football because they're just awful. Stoke are just awful, right? Then you look at the first game ever between us and Brighton where we won 3-2. 5 goals in the first half. You're like, this is end-to-end madness. What the F is going on? But it was just beautiful seeing Wilf put 2 in the net. You're like, I told you, he loves playing Brighton because he hates them. Because he doesn't need motivation for that. Obviously, last season, 2-1 at the Amex. last minute winner. You love to see it. But trust me, the minute Hodgson was gone, I was thinking, Parish, don't F this up, please. The last 4 years, you've tested the fan base's patience, and we're not a demanding fan base for the most part, apart from some of the Muppets on football Twitter, because believe me, there's a number of them. But he needed to get this appointment right, and so far, I think he has.
I agree. I would agree with you regarding the PVA thing going at Old Trafford, and I think it was more so because Dan James decided to celebrate an equaliser, and the manner in which he did it was hilarious. Like, he just got that image of, obviously, was it Rashford and Martial trying to pull him back to the halfway line, only for them to lose. You know, absolute gold mine. Let me just address a few more comments. So we'll skate backwards. Big up, guys. You're all doing great. I even forego the Liverpool hate. As Liverpool fans, we did all big up Palace. Impressive performance. It was a very impressive performance. CJ says, evening, guys. We'll watch on playback. I've gone 3-1 to the Mighty Palace. Thanks for the stream. No doubt. Connect Real said he's back. Connect Real, don't go anywhere. I need to speak to you on my next show, which is straight after this, because we need to talk Ollie. We actually need to talk Ollie Gunnar Solskjaer.
Best manager I've ever seen. Best manager.
And Alternation, who remembers when we lost 3-0 to Burnley? Yeah, that was dire.
Probably blocked out my memory.
It was bad.
Burnley are dire. We know that.
No, trust me, Huddersfield at home, that hurt way more than Burnley.
Actually,
trust me.
Yeah, but Nave, don't forget we were linked with Daesh, and we could have appointed Roy Hodgson's love child. Consider that. That wouldn't have been good.
Yeah, I don't want.
But look,
Steve Dash
everybody was clamoring for Eddie Howe, Steve, and I was saying to them, I don't want this guy anywhere near us, because as the documentary revealed, he turned us down before. So, do you know what? Sod him. Because he went to Bournemouth, eventually got found out, got relegated, and he's not in a job since. So everybody was saying, oh, but his style of football is so good. He's a checkbook manager. Bournemouth had to spend money to get to the Premier League. It wasn't a case of he developed a team from Bournemouth's academy and got them into the Prem. They had a Russian billionaire back them all the way. Our club built our way to the Premier League. We signed players that we never heard of to get into the Prem. We didn't sign Jedinak from an established club. We signed him from the back-arse club in Turkey. You're like, who's this Jedinak guy? Who's Dickerjoy? Who's this? Who's that? Balassi was a bench warmer at Bristol City. But Bournemouth get all this praise. Oh, plucky little Bournemouth. Behave. They're just a glorified, not even glorified, but they're just a pub team that I'm so glad I'm not in the Premier League anymore.
No, absolutely. The next point was actually to talk about the rivalry, but we've actually spoken about it. Like, it's the mainstream media, they don't have a clue. They've got to stop referring to this as a derby. It is not a derby at all. And Nate said it spot on. We're South London. They're Sussex. Like, it's just a rivalry based on the fact that we're the two oldest clubs in the league and things along those lines. So I'm just going to skip past that. We're not going to talk about that. But we are going to actually discuss this. Who do you think their biggest threat is?
I think I'll go first. I think their biggest threat is Lewis Dunk, because he touches women.
Oh my word! I was waiting for someone to say that.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. Their biggest threat, and I don't see him staying there after this season, is Basuma. The guy is levels above anything else that squad's got. And I think he will be Liverpool bound next season.
Yeah.
I think he will replace probably Henderson, because Henderson's just a load of shit anyway, because he only passes sideways. But yeah, that's the biggest threat. And I personally, Brighton fans will probably say that Morphe is a threat, but against Anderson, and I can't pronounce his name. Go on, Rich.
Gay.
That's the one. I don't see them having any issues with the guy. I generally don't think he's going to cause them any problems. But Basuma has got a pass in him.
Well, on that Basuma note, there is rumours that he's going to sign for Liverpool in January.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be,
That's them going down then, because without him, they're not a football team. They're literally Basuma FC.
he is really good.
No, he is, but that's the thing. He's that good. If they sell him, they're done for. Forget it.
Well, Nath, I think you'll see Basuma go first, and then as soon as he's got fitness and some time behind him, I think you'll see Lamptey leave as well. Because Brighton's just a stepping stone for him. There's no way he came from Chelsea with the intention of staying long term at that club. Like, who wants to be at Brighton? I mean, it's a shower of piss, isn't it, really?
I don't think anyone's ever dreamt themselves, one day I want to be a Brighton legend. I don't think anyone's mind has ever said that. Like, you could go through the history books. No aspiring young footballer's gone, I want to play for Brighton and Hove Albion. It's never happened. Like, it's a personal guarantee that that's never happened.
Yeah, let's get real with it though. The one player that they love to throw in our face is a Brighton legend. What happened when he joined Crystal Palace? He came to us on a free and helped us get promoted. So all this waffle about, Glenn Murray's a Brighton legend. No, he's not. Let's get real with it. The only reason he went back there is because Bournemouth didn't want him, and Alan Pardew is a grade A dickhead for selling him. Because I can't actually believe we sold Glenn Murray and kept Fraser Campbell. It's like, what? Well, Brighton, listen, nobody goes to Brighton to become a football legend. I mean, for Christ's sake, Ben White got out of there quick time, and he's god awful. I know Arsenal won today, but let's be honest, he's awful.
England defender, amazing player. Arsenal had their pants pulled down and pulled sideways. And
Harry Maguire's an England defender. Let's not try and make England defenders like they're world class out here. Trust me, there's a level to England defenders, and believe me, we've gone from Sol Campbell, Rio Ferdinand, John Terry, to Ben White and Harry Maguire. No wonder we haven't won a major trophy since 1966.
It's crazy. I don't want to get everyone's hopes up, but there's still rumours that Basuma could be injured, and so, which will be an absolute dream if he is.
Don't think it'll make a difference.
But I don't personally. I know it's biased, and I know there's four of us, and there's no one else's opinion, specifically the opposition. But can we now see us having problems in midfield with Gallagher, with the likes of whether it's Luca seems to be so much better with Gallagher around. The difference that the guy makes, he seems to be the type of player that can cover the mistakes that no one could cover last season that Luca made. And even if it's Riedewald, he didn't have the best of games against Liverpool when he came on. I still think that Gallagher, all the while he starts, there's nothing going to cause us any problems in that area. I might come across deluded, maybe, I don't know. But given how the first 5 games have gone, aside of Chelsea, who are a world-class team, the European Championships, you're always going to struggle. But
he has given the whole midfield a lift,
and he didn't even play in that. If he'd have played in that, I don't think the scoreline would have been the same.
Yeah, he's given the midfield a massive lift.
Yeah, I'd agree with that because
he's absolutely everywhere.
Like Gyro and Milivoje and Luca have been players that the fan base have loved to just absolutely decimate on Twitter every single time they played under Hodgson, because mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. It was easy to pick them out and go, they were at fault today. They were at fault today. It wasn't a case of you had 6-7 other players to pick out. It was always the 2 in midfield.
Yeah, but you know why, don't you? Because the natural disposition of all 11 players was to defend. Now, the natural disposition is, right, you guys need to get forward with the ball. That's what Vieira's telling them. The first thing you need to do when you get the ball is you need to look up, you need to look forward, and you need to run, and you need to go at them. Because if we're attacking them, and this is what he was saying in this interview, if we're attacking them, they can't attack us.
Yeah, no, Steve, I hear that. But what I'm trying to say is that was the go-to excuse. Anytime we had a bad result or a bad performance, it was always slaughter the midfield, even though we had players like Mamadou Sakho, whenever he did play, albeit very rarely, right? Sakho was Bambi on ice, giving the ball away for fun like it was Oxfam. It was just like, Are we paying this guy a wage, or is he just giving it away for free? Because if he had a business, he'd be selling all of his merch for free. He wouldn't even be getting any money for what he was selling, right? Van Aanholt, Christ above, if he was a defender, I think we've got a better chance of putting a lawyer at left back because he's just shocking. Yeah. Then you look at in times you'd see Wilf lose the ball and Zaha gets a bit of a pass because he's Wilf. But even then you're thinking you can't blame Wilf too much because there's no one around him trying to pick up the ball and get the ball back to him. Now, Conor Gallagher's got that energy to get the ball, swing it to Wilf. Tyrick Mitchell swings it to Wilf. There's always somebody looking to link it. Bear in mind, we still have Eze to come back, which hopefully will be around the new year. I don't want to rush him back into December or all of that. I'm thinking, let him come around the FA Cup time where the pressure is off because we don't really need to worry about the Cup. If we get through, cool. If we don't, is what it is. We want a fully fit Eze ready to go in the league. That's what we're waiting on. We've got Elise there, MacArthur, Riedewald, Gallagher, Luca. We're spoilt for choice in midfield. Last season, you could hand pick on one hand who's playing in midfield for us. Because one of our best midfielders over the last 3-4 years was playing at centre back last season in Kouyaté. And I was thinking, this is worrying. We're playing not by no means our greatest ever midfielder, but Kouyaté was one of the only midfielders I felt comfortable playing in midfield. And we're playing him at centre back. I was thinking, I don't know about this because granted, I don't think Tompkins has got much of a future left. Martin Kelly can't get a game for love of money. I'm thinking, kind of understand that. He's never been a player that can get in the first team and stay there. But you're just thinking, the lack of squad depth is a worry. Obviously, we've tried to remedy that with the window we had just gone. But the midfield options are actually really, really, it's an embarrassment of riches in midfield, which I don't think we've ever had, ever.
It is so good. Which brings us nicely. I'm just getting a few more comments actually. So this is what we're going to discuss next anyway. So who's your starting lineup? So we'll come back to that in a minute. Connect Rail says if we close Basuma because he's their spark. Michael the Scrub Tarling. Chelsea Academy is actually built different. Livramento, Gallagher, Gahey. Yeah, but they just keep.
Oil money does that for you.
Yeah. They're going to lose a lot of their talent.
Yeah, but the thing is, we've always said this about Chelsea. They spot a bit of talent. They go out and buy it, but they buy it for the sake of buying it, knowing full well that the majority of the time the kid is going to develop, but isn't going to be a first teamer. And, when was the last time they bought someone and they actually allowed them to develop and play? I can't think of a player. Even Hudson-Odoi, who's gone through their academy, he ain't got a chance. He ain't even got a look in. Yeah. He wanted to go on loan, and they refused that, telling him that he's got opportunities. But 6 games in for Chelsea, and he's not had a chance.
I think the only one now is Reece James, isn't it?
Mason Mount and Reece James.
Mason Mount, yeah.
Yeah, but they had to go on loan first. Mason Mount had to go on loan specifically, to come back to be able to give him that chance. And if Lampard hadn't given him that chance, Tuchel definitely wouldn't be giving him that.
No. I hear that, Steve, because bear in mind, Loftus-Cheek got in the Chelsea squad because of when he came to us.
Yeah.
Which is exactly the truth, because Loftus-Cheek got into the England squad for the World Cup, or close to the England squad, because he was playing so well with us. Ironically, under Roy Hodgson. Don't ask me how, but Roy Hodgson's first season, he actually did play some fairly decent football. Then it all went downhill from there, and we all know what happened after that, so we won't go further into that. But, yeah, in terms of starting lineups, what do we think, lads?
I'll let you two boys go first, and then I'm going to put my penny's worth in.
Go on then, James. You kick it off.
I mean, goalkeeper's obvious, Guaita. I think the back four is pretty obvious. Maybe, I don't know. Part of me wants to see Klein play. I know, he probably won't do anything, but it's maybe just... Ward's been class this season, but I kind of just want to see Klein. I don't think he'll start, but I'll say Klein because I'm intrigued to see what he can actually do. Midfield is, for me, I go Gallagher, obviously. I think MacArthur and Luca, it makes sense. It's just, I think they've done a good job already this season. Don't change what ain't broken. That's not the saying, but something like that. And then... Yeah, and then Wilf, Edouard, Elise, full faith. Ayew ain't been it this season. I want to see Elise start. Edward, I mean, just he has to start. I feel just changes the game every time he's played, and he's played 30-minute games. And so yeah, that's how I feel.
Nate.
Guaita, and then the back four, as James alluded to, pretty much picks itself. I don't want to jinx us because there's this mad stat that I never knew was true, but actually Joel Ward has never lost when he's played Brighton. I know I'm tempting fate by saying that, but the fact that he's got this impressive record, it's like, well, do you know what? As James just said, don't fix it if it ain't broken. And to be fair, Ward's kind of not done an awful lot wrong for a man that was getting slaughtered, as I alluded to with Luca and Gyro. I'm thinking, keep the back four as it is. The midfield, again, pretty much picks itself. I think MacArthur, either one of Kouyaté or Gyro and Gallagher. I can't really pick between the two, but if I had to pick, I'd probably go Kouyaté, MacArthur, and Conor Gallagher. And the front three, if I see Jordan Ayew on the right, what little hair I have left, I'm tearing out. Because I'm losing patience with Jordan Ayew. As much as people can throw the goal against West Ham, you can throw this and that. No, I'm done with Jordan Ayew on the right. I know he's trying, and he is trying his best, but even if need be, play Raksaki, play somebody who's actually a winger. Don't play a striker on the wing. It's infuriating. I mean, if we could get away with it, play Natty Klein as a winger, for Christ's sake. Anybody but Jordan Ayew. Play the T-Lady. Play Steve Parish. Play anybody but Jordan Ayew on the right-hand side of the pitch. Because trust me, it's not working. I know Ayew is trying. I don't hate on a person who's trying. But how much more can we take before we realise, are we really watching another Roy Hodgson team? Because it's square pegs in round holes, and there's nothing more infuriating when you're thinking, okay, we didn't get a right-sided player to replace Townsend. Fair enough. That's one area of our transfer business. We may look on and go, probably should have tried to plug that gap. People are saying Elise, but for me, he's more like a cover for Eze. They're both kind of attacking mids. But if Elise can play on the right, sling him out there. Let's see what he can do. But anybody but Jordan Ayew, please. Please. Even if we have to dig up somebody from the past. Clinton Morrison on the right for all I care. Anybody but Jordan Ayew is all I'm asking. But striker, it's got to be Eddie. Because as much as I think Benteke doesn't deserve to be dropped because he's played well since he's come into the team, I want to see what this guy can do. Because those 2 goals against Tottenham had me thinking, okay, very good debut. But we've seen this before with some Palace strikers where they have a blinding debut and then we don't see hide or hair of them ever again. Because who was it? We had a striker a few years ago in the championship. He ripped it up for another team, came to us, scored on his debut, never heard from him again. Like, well, that was an anticlimax. And then obviously the one and only man you want in this fixture, it's got to be our number 11, because if there's a player that wants to beat this lot, whether it's home, whether it's away, it's Wilfried Zaha. Because remember, Will Buckley's better than him. Who? Who is this Will Buckley guy? Is my man related to the guy from the In-Betweeners? Seriously, he must be related to the guy from the In-Betweeners, because I've never seen Will Buckley in the Premier League since what? When was it? 2013, 14? Nah. Come on now. Any chat of, Will Buckley's better than Zaha. Have you seen them tweets? They haven't aged well. And there's Brighton fans saying, but that was at the time. Nah, even at the time, we were like, really? A guy that looks like a glorified plumber is better than a winger that Manchester United are looking at. Here's the levels. Zaha went to Man United. Buckley went to Sunderland. Who's really the better player here? I rest my case. Will Buckley? Never.
Steve.
Well, I'm going to be a little bit controversial in some of my opinions. So first of all, for me, it's Butland. Gaeta's form. Hear me out, boys. Gaeta's form has been a bit patchy, and it absolutely infuriates me that you've got a guy who's 6'2" or whatever he is, and he just doesn't catch the ball. It's punch, and that punch at Liverpool for Keita to score, yeah, it was a great finish. He had to put it away, but that epitomises my point. Stop punching the ball out and putting us under pressure. He does it game after game after game, and he gets away with it quite often. But we got punished against Liverpool. You're a keeper. Keepers catch balls. Keepers do not need to be punching the ball. It's an absolute myth that you need to be doing that, and it infuriates me. So first of all, I would drop him just to say, listen, mate, your form's not been great. Your distribution has been patchy as well. He's either on it or he's off it, and he's been off it more than he's been on it. So for me, I will put Butland in just to show him, mate, you need to step it up, because we've been guilty of that so often, especially under the Hodgson reign, where we just allow players to have the understanding that they're going to be playing regardless of their form. At the back, like you two boys, it takes care of itself. Ward has been unbelievable in the first 5 games, so credit where credit's due, especially like you pointed out, Nathan, the battering that he got last season, because he had a mistake in him. But I don't genuinely believe that mistake's disappeared, but I think Vieira's pulled a few extra inches out of him, effectively. But the romantic in me would still like Klein to be given a go if he's actually fit. Midfield, just like you guys, for me, Kiarte's form's been poor. I think we need to start with Gyro because he's got a great pass in him. We need to start with MacArthur and Gallagher. And then we need to go with Zaha, as usual. We need to go with Eduardo up front because we don't play to the best of our abilities with Benteke. We're not utilising him in the right way. So it's rendered useless. We're never going to play the way that we need to play for him. And then on the right, like Nathan mentioned, Elise, yeah, he's probably not a right winger, but for me, he's just been rubbish. You know, his intent's there. He tries, but he isn't the same player. He was on a downward spiral last season, let alone this season. And I'm quite surprised we retained his services. I genuinely believed that he would go. But he's here. And at the end of the day, you know, we need to use what we've got. But for me, if Elise is a replacement for Eze or a backup, that's fine because he's a quality player. We need to be playing Raksaki because I'm telling you now, we're in danger of losing that kid. Liverpool are all over him at the moment. They have sent scouts watching him all on many occasions so far already. And we need to start giving the kid time because playing time because he is unbelievable. And if he's that good for the under-18s and the under-23s where he's been playing, I'm a big believer in youth, and we've got gold there. We need to start utilising that gold.
Big time.
So, yeah, that's my starting lineup.
Rich, before we go, I want to just remind. I forgot all about Will Hughes. And I just remembered, it's like, we've got Will Hughes as well. I literally forgot about him. I was like, oh shit, I forgot all about Will Hughes. So there's another option we could throw into midfield. So as I said, and we're overstacked in midfield, which last season it was the understatement. We were understacked. It was like, where's our midfield? This season, Will Hughes can come in, and I don't know if Will Hughes is still at the level that he once was when he first came to Watford, but seeing as Watford fans were pretty pissed he came to us, but then again, Watford are always pissed when they come when we're brought up because they've got this weird obsession with us. It's like, you're worse than Charlton. And believe me, that's not a compliment. Like, at least with Charlton, there's a genuine reason for them to hate us because they're just this little mob from SE7 that have this inferiority complex. But it's like...
Well, no, that's wrong, Nathan. They're the group of people that travel the country entertaining people. You know, just a circus, aren't they? That's all they are.
I'm fully all for calling them the clowns, but you've got to remember, they're the type of people that keep going on about, well, we've won an FA Cup. That's great, but right now, Charlton are the abused stepchild of the South London family. They're just getting rinsed everywhere they go. They're in a relegation scrap.
Charlton's 23rd in League One. Like, that's degrading.
Boys, if this season finishes the way it is right now and Charlton are playing Sutton United next season in League 2, believe me, Charlton are finished for good because it's just embarrassing. Thinking, wait a minute, I know they've got an FA Cup and everything, but Sutton United, who play on a 3G pitch, are going to be their rivals for a South London derby. Even AFC Wimbledon, who we all know have done a fantastic job to stay in League One the last couple of years. It's like, how low can not how low can Charlton sink? How low can they not sink? Because it's like they're Titanic right now. It's not. It's brilliant to watch from the outside because we're like, remember when they told us how we'll never stay in the Premier League longer than they did? 2 years clear of them, by the way. They managed 7. We've done 9. Oh well, you'll never get to a cup final. We've done that. Won't get to cup semi-finals. We did that twice. League Cup in, what was it, 2012, and the FA Cup semi-final in 2016. It's just funny seeing Charlton fans give us all this grief. It's like you'd trade anything to be where we are right now. So I'm not, as you said, Steve. Yes, they are the clowns, 100%. But to see them live up to their nickname, it's just beautiful. Because all we heard, remember when we played them back in the Championship? Yeah, well, you got lucky because that goal should have stood. We don't care. It's not how you win. It's that you win. We beat them home and away in this promotion season. It was like we didn't deserve it at their place, but Sodom. After we sent the Palace down, it's who the fuck is laughing now? It's beautiful seeing them in the mud, and may it continue.
Absolutely.
It's a shame X Factor's finished, Nathan, because you should go for it. If
I was decent, wasn't it?
Beautiful tones, mate. Beautiful tones.
What can I say? I'm in a good mood because it's Brighton at home tomorrow, boys. What can I say? I'm in too good a mood right now.
For me, and I've been to and fro about the goalkeeper myself, actually. I think that punch for Kaitis goes, it's annoyed me. It's really annoyed me.
Yep.
I'm going Butland in goal. Back
That,
four
on that, Rich, I'll just make a point, mate. I'm not tall. I'm 5'7". I'll play 5-a-side on a Thursday night, and we play with the big goals. Even I can frigging catch it. I'm catching the ball. I'm doing it. The guy's nearly a foot taller than me, and he doesn't catch it. I don't understand that. I can't get my head around it. You're a goalkeeper. Catch the ball.
Especially against Brighton, who obviously got tall centre backs. To be fair to them, they're going to be slinging in crosses, especially from corners and set pieces. I'd go Butland because at least he'll catch it. Back four stays the same. I would actually chuck Will Hughes into this one. Will Hughes, Maka, and Gallagher as a free midfield. I just think we need to we've got to bypass their midfield very quick. If we can get right onto their back line, we'll be fine. Because I trust Zaha, Edouard, and Elise, hopefully, to just cause problems. Anybody
but Jordan Ayew. I'm going to keep banging this drum till it sinks in. Anybody but Jordan Ayew, even if we have to dig up.
The thing is, Nate, the thing that irritates me about Ayew, he's got all of the intent, but he doesn't have the pace anymore. He's lost that. And when he gets the ball, even though he's been told, run at them, go at them, and he does, he can't beat anyone. So he's kind of rendered useless. And if you've got a kid that's just rapid as fuck, sitting there, chomping at the bit to be in the first team squad, just give him a go. If you're concerned about Elise's fitness, that's fine. Just leave him on the bench. But play Rakzaki and give him a go.
Play Jez, play Banks, play Nia Kirby, play anybody but Jordan Ayew. I'll keep banging this. Play one of the women. I don't give a damn. I don't want Jordan Ayew anywhere near this first team tomorrow. If Ayew is in that team, boys, I swear to Christ, this is going to be a very different reaction because, trust me, I'm done with Jordan Ayew. I know for Ghana, he's one of their most important players, as Rich will tell you, but when he plays for us, it's not that he doesn't try. We know he tries. You can see it. He's always trying. But playing a striker as a winger, it's like, oh my God, is this literally Sam Allardyce again?
But I don't even regard him as a striker. That's the thing.
Well, he's damn sure ain't a winger. So what is he?
Not even either one of them. I mean, like, if he was a striker, you're never picking him.
James, James, that's too far. He's not a footballer. He's a lamppost.
He is he's a human, isn't it?
He's a human being, but I could have sworn he was a bus stop outside on Whitehorse on Whitehorse Lane.
Yeah, as a fellow Ghanaian myself, he does do all right for us, the national side. But yeah, he's just not cutting it on the right hand side for us. And I do want to see Michael Elise start, especially where they've got that new left back in from Getafe,
Cucurella,
who's decent going forward, but there's a space to be exploited there. defensively.
Man's the Spanish Van Aanholt. We're going to have a field day if we let him go AWOL on the top of the pitch. So trust me, just let him have all the space on our right-hand side and just say, do you know what? Cheers for that. Whoop, in.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing I want to see, boys, I want to see whoever's on the right swap with Zaha, but not just like half an hour in or 50 minutes in or whatever. Like
Balassi and Zaha. I know what you're saying. Balassi and Zaha.
Make them think.
Swap.
Have a problem to think about.
Yeah. Bit like Balassi and Zaha, like we used to do back in that time.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that would only work if we played 2 natural wingers.
I think we need to start Raksaki.
Then you start Jez.
Yeah.
Because no Premier League defender has come up against Jez or Michael. So either way, you like if you're playing Jordan now, you know what to do. He can't run. He's a headless chicken. If you shut him out, you get the ball, it's cleared. But Elise, not many of the defenders in this league will have seen him play, and those that have will probably go, he's dangerous, he's quick, he's that. You play Jez and thinking, give him minutes, because bear in mind, we've been starved of academy players coming through. Apart from Tyrick, Wilf, Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Natty Klein. Granted, Natty Klein came through back in the championship and so did Wilf, to be fair. We've been starved of, and don't get me wrong, some of our youth that we've seen talked about, like Saleh Kaikai and them, you're like, yeah, they weren't quite what we were hoping for. But this new crop coming through, Jesus Christ, David Omalabu, Wells Morrison, the list is endless. It's like, why the hell were we wasting time with some of the players we've had in our academy? These kids are the business.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you only have to look at what Scott Banks did pre-season. The bloke was
that free kick against Reading.
He was on fire, and the poor kid can't get a look in. So it's just, I appreciate there's a difference in terms of what we've got, but you do need to give these kids, and I just wish we'd taken the League Cup a bit more seriously, to allow them that opportunity.
Okay, we don't want another Mandela Egbo situation, because losing him, it was like, that's probably one of the only players we've seen lately that we kind of maybe should have held on to. Because when he went to Mönchengladbach, killed it in the Bundesliga. I know I think he's playing in America now, but it's just like, of all the players to let go, he wasn't the player. But look, for tomorrow night rather, we all know what it's got to be. We want to see nothing but relentless aggression. Don't give them an inch.
Yeah.
Because under Roy Hodgson, it was surrender. White Flag FC, we give up. You take the points. We don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, I just want to see us play like we are the home side.
Yeah,
we're at home. This is our club. This is our stadium. This belongs to us, and we're going to show you there was a mistake. You travelling 50 miles up the M23 to come and play us, and take the game to them. And like Vieira said in that interview, and I've said it since God was a boy, if we're attacking, they can't attack you, and there isn't a thing they can do to damage you if you're the team that's taking it to them. And that's all I want to see from minute 1 to minute 90. Absolutely. Simple as that.
We're at home, and Hodgson was lucky last season that there weren't 8 fans at either game. Now that there are fans back in the ground, Vieira is going to get backed from minute 1 to minute 90, because that's the thing. Even when it's been awful, Hodgson was getting backed by the crowd, but the crowd were getting on his back until Wilfried Zaha whipped that ball into the top of the roof and got us the 1-1 draw. The last time we had fans in the ground. But that's where Roy Hodgson had a bye last season. But with no fans, there's no pressure. He got away with murder last season because obviously we won the game at the Amex and we got away with a draw at our place. But it's just like, we've only had 3 touches in their box in both games last season and they resulted in goals, which is beautiful because they peppered us. They've peppered us. It's been one-way traffic, literally roundabout. And we still came out with 4 points rather than they came out with 2. It's like, I won't lie, it's not great, but it's better. But there's no excuses tomorrow. There's no sugarcoating any lapse of performance. We need the players. Vieira knows what this game means, but apparently Zaha took the players out for dinner yesterday and was getting into the new players and saying, listen, if there's a game you need to be on for, it's this one. We can forgive losing to Liverpool and Chelsea and drawing at West Ham and Brentford and the whole 9 yards of it. Any other team in the league, it's one of those games, we move on. There's no excuses for this game. You lose, trust me, there's no protection from anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's finish off with score predictions. James, what are you going for?
Ooh, I think it's going to be high for us. I think that I think Brighton are riding on their hype right now, and we're going to humble them. I think they seem to think, because obviously beating any team is what you need to do to get anywhere in the league, but they have beaten some of the weakest teams in the league, and so I think it's our time to show them why they ain't it this season. Like, I think I'm saying 4-0. It's going to be one of those days.
I like this guy.
Boy, if it's 4-0, James, I'm watching out for you, because trust me, if it's 4-0, I'm not going into work the next week because I won't be able to contain myself. I'm that excited. But 4-0, boy, I'd take that. I'd take that with bells on.
Nath?
The optimist in me wants to smack them something stupid like 7-0. Just to put them in their place, send them back down the M23 and let them go back to some reject county like Sussex. Don't want them coming near South London again. The realist in me, though.
Sussex knife.
My condolences, Steve. Luckily for me, I live across the Irish Sea, so I'm a little bit further away from all that blue and white nonsense you have to pull up with, because I'm even reluctant buying bags from Tesco. That's how much I don't like blue and white. So trust me. James, you get a pass because that's a Palace kit, not a Brighton kit.
Exactly. The only blue and white that's acceptable.
Yes, exactly,
What
James.
blue and white, by the way? This is one of the nicest kits I've ever seen. I'm not even gonna lie. It's so nice.
It's levels, yeah. But look, realistically, I just want to smack them. I don't care what scoreline. I don't care if we win 1-0 with a Lewis Dunk own goal and he gets sent off for being a grade A dickhead. And so another thing I won't say for fear of being cancelled out here, because cancel culture is real. Provided we beat them, I don't care what the scoreline is. I just want to beat them, send them back down the M23. There's your little hype train gone. Stop talking nonsense. And you know what? While you're at it, Her Majesty's Prison Services, take Lewis Dunk out of Sellers Park and give him a life ban in order. We don't want him anywhere near us. Because, I'm done with this guy. But I just want to beat him, lads. I don't care how we beat them. Just beat them. We beat them, I'm happy. Score prediction, 3-0.
Steve?
Quite ironic that James mentioned 4-0, because I actually had a dream last night, and I'm not making this up. This is actual facts. I actually dreamt that we won 4-0 and Zaha had a brace and Eduardo had a brace. The realist in me, given how they're playing at the moment, and they've, let's give them a little bit of respect. They don't really deserve it because they're a bunch of, but they've done well. They've taken advantage of what on paper is an easy start. The Leicester game, fair play. They beat Leicester. That's not an easy game for them. To win it.
Got away with murder out of that one.
They got away with it, but they won it. But they've played 5, sorry, and they've done well in the cup as well. So got to give them that. But I feel like we're going to get a 2 or 3-0 win. I don't see us conceding. I don't see us having to worry about, that little midget up front.
Frodo Baggins.
The one player that I do have concerns with, because he's a bit of an unknown quantity if they start him, is McAllister. I actually think he ain't a bad player, to be honest.
Well, we know about him because he scored against us at Sellers last season.
Yeah, he ain't a bad player. I mean, I don't know whether he's got attitude problems or anything like that, hence why he doesn't start all the time. But I don't know. But Bassoum is the key player. If we can take him out of the game, and I suspect it will probably be Gallagher's job, I think we dominate them, and that's what I'm hoping for. I just want to be walking out that ground at full time, buzzing my head off. Laughing and just rinsing them and boiling piss on Twitter from minute 91 onwards.
Absolutely. I'm going 3-0 myself. I think Anderson and Gay pocket their forwards, and it's just going to be relentless attack after attack after attack. But I'm going to go Wilf, Edward, and Gallagher to get the goals.
Boys, keep your phones handy if you see Lewis Dunk up to his naughty activities, though. Remember that, because he likes a bit of a feel around.
This Lewis Dunk stuff until today. I don't pay attention to Brighton, and that's mad that I've discovered that.
The thing is, guys, don't forget, Brighton fans will bang on about the B-Tech knockout Trossard, who's bang average in my opinion. He scored one good goal, and all of a sudden he's amazing. But
this is it.
I don't see him causing us any problems. It might backfire on me, but I just don't.
Yeah.
I just think we're going to dominate them. That is what I think is going to happen.
100%. Guys, what a blast. Let me just end the show with these comments. So we've got here 3-2 to us.
2. How are they scoring 2? I honestly think they've got one of the weakest attacks in the league. Our defense comfortably pockets theirs.
They got away with murder against Leicester, and let me tell you something. I'm aware that they can hurt us. We all know that for a fact because we can't write them off. But I watched that Leicester game and I was thinking, I'm not really worried. Normally, I'm always thinking, right, who do we need to watch out for? I was thinking, none of these guys, like Welbeck doesn't scare the shit out of me. He's like, Danny Welbeck. This guy is more injury prone than Mamadou Sakho. He rents a bed with the NHS. So it's like, okay, Welbeck I'm not scared of. Adam Lallana may as well have just started playing golf with Gareth Bale because he can't get a game for love or money. Solly March is apparently this world-class left-back. It's like, Solly March, isn't this the B-Tech, what was his name? Used to play for the Kazanga Lualua, the white Lualua. It's like, nah, Solly March has done that here as well. So many of their players have been hyped up as, they're good. The only Brighton player I'm always wary of is Pascal Gross because I know that's a good player.
Solly March is League One. He should be playing for Charlton, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Christ, no! Even playing for Charlton would be a too big a level for him. This guy should be playing for Dartford or Dover or one of those teams in the National League.
Oh, that's disrespect to the National League teams. Come on.
Yeah, I think that's bang out of
all right. Fair enough. He should be playing for
Ryman League.
Actually, no, Brighton. Yeah, he should be playing for Brighton. That's about his level.
He should be playing for Lewis FC. That's more of a respectable level for him.
Brighton pub.
Lewis FC are bigger than Brighton.
I mean,
Crawley Town are bigger than Brighton, for Christ's sake.
Brighton. That's where Lewis.
Crawley Town are bigger than Brighton. Trust me.
Brighton must actually genuinely be one of the smallest teams in the EFL. Like they haven't. I have not ever met a Brighton fan. Never. Because I don't want to.
It's a myth. They don't exist because they're all Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal fans. And you know what it is? When the big boys come to the Amex, I'm amazed I don't see half and half scarves all across the ground because there's no such thing as a Brighton fan. Yes, we've seen an increase in our attendances at Selhurst Park, but the majority of our fan base were Palace fans long before the Premier League was here.
This is it. Let me get through these
Brighton fans couldn't spot for love or money.
We will wrap it up. 2-1 Palace here. We've got 3-0. 3-1.
Oh, shit.
Mope is, yep.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's being polite, but I understand the sentiment.
20 million they paid for him. Just consider that.
Start Rose Raksaki. Him or Lise, either or.
Oh, God.
Trust us to be the guy.
That's harsh on I.
From another Liverpool fan, trust me, Palace will win 3-1.
What's that Liverpool fan's name, Rich?
I ain't falling for those traps. I do read the name. I read the names before I put them up.
That's no Liverpool fan. That's a Brighton fan. Don't take that seriously. That's a Brighton fan in disguise. We all know what that is.
I know some of these people that they intentionally change their names and stuff, but I make sure I read them before.
I love them. I love seeing it when it happens.
It's so funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cracking.
And then 2-1. Listen, what a stream. You know what? Let's just win. All three of you make sure you're available Tuesday night for the match reaction because we are going to party. We're going to have absolute scenes. Guys, what an amazing stream. Thanks, James, Steve, and Nathan for coming on. It's been a bag of laughs. So as I said, tomorrow I'll be fortunate to be down there at Selhurst Park. Steve, depending on what time my wife can get home from work, will depend whether or not I can meet you up beforehand. James, I know you're obviously going as well.
Yep.
I'll try and bring my camera and stuff to do fan cams after the game, but we'll see if logistics will work out. So if you want to come find me, we'll do that. But if not, like I said, Tuesday night, do the match reaction. You could come on here and have your say on the game. So yeah, listen, great stream. Respect for everyone that's been in the comment section, keeping it active. So respect to you as well, Jay. Absolutely great stream. Come on the Palace. Listen, massive game tomorrow.
Up the
Under
Palace.
floodlights.
Like the Palace.
Up the Palace.
Up the
indeed.
Palace.
Guys, if you haven't already, please like the stream, share it with everyone you know, subscribe to Eagle Eyed Football, follow these guys. I'm so bad at putting ats in the description, but follow No Context Humor on Twitter for your No Context Humor. Follow CPFC Nate as well, Twitter and Instagram. And James, we're working on your socials, aren't we?
Yeah.
We'll get you on social media, don't worry.
At one point, I'll begin it. At one point.
Yeah, and listen, all the best with obviously the sports journalism stuff. If I
Yes.
find anything out, I'll send it your way as well, to be fair.
Yes.
And maybe even starting your own channel could work as sports journalism.
At one point soon, I will get on that. I've
This
tried
is it.
YouTube before, but I'm not very good at it.
You're what?
No, it's because for some reason, it's because I always used to just play like games and try to upload them, but I'm not very good at gaming is the issue, so...
Well, talk Palace. Talk Palace, you'll be fine.
Exactly. Palace, it's like, talking Palace, it's something that's actually like interesting.
There you go. Set it up. You deadline next week. That's my school teacher and me.
I've literally been planning it. It's in my head. I just need to do it. Pretty simple.
Cool. But listen, guys, thanks a lot for everything.
Rich,
Have a lovely
this is
evening.
one of the best shows we've ever done, by the way.
Listen,
this is one of the best shows ever.
You guys make the show. Seriously, absolutely. And that's why I messaged you lot personally. I had to get you lot on and stuff. And we'll do this again. We will do this again.
Honoured to be part of it. Cheers. And nice to meet you, Nathan. Nice to meet you, James.
Nice to meet you, Steve. Big up yourself. Nice to meet you, James. Big up yourself.
Guys, love you all. Take care.